Mic's on now. Testing, testing. Can we hear you out on the internet? Or more or less, can you hear us out on the internet? Because that's how we do this. Alrighty. Hello, hello. Yes. Looks like we're good there. We're good there. Alright. Go ahead and stop that. And flip there. And hey, how we doing out there? It is another wonderful night with Scuba and...
The Ry guy.
Yeah, Ry guy.
Some guy.
Well, you know,
Well,
it's Tuesday night. It's another night for us. We're going to, sit down, chat about some stuff.
chat, relax. It is the first week of December.
It is, and we are live on the internet.
Another live session.
Yep, live recording session, so it's all good there. Yeah, we got some things to talk about. First week of December. Lots of good times there. Getting ready for that holiday season.
Yeah, it's the winter wonderland. So you
Yep.
got a lot of Christmas decorations going up, light stuff, and a lot of shopping for some people.
Yeah, that's true. And got our new background that has a Christmas, very wintry and whatnot. So we'll see how that kind of goes.
Make some snowmans and some snow angels.
Oh yeah. So how was your post Thanksgiving?
Post Thanksgiving. Well, usually what I do post Thanksgiving, or even a little bit on Thanksgiving, carrying on through the rest of the weekend, is the Black Friday shopping.
Oh yes, you are notorious for your Black Friday shopping.
Yes, every Black Friday I go out shopping. Will I buy the same things? No, it always depends on the sales. It always depends on what I really need.
Okay. So any good deals you caught this time?
Well, a few techno gizmos and gadgets. I bought some new gear for running.
Okay.
So I did that from the Under Armour store. Did get another shirt from one of my places I like to shop, American Eagle.
Okay.
But Best Buy is the
Man,
store.
I thought you were like an Old Navy Gap person.
I've moved on.
You've moved
Well,
on?
no, let me rephrase that. I did not move on. I went back to my old stomping grounds. I used to shop at American Eagle a lot, and then I went away from it for a little bit. Now I've gone back.
So you were a Gap person for a long time.
Yeah.
Are you still a Gap person?
It depends.
Oh, okay.
It's just the jeans don't fit me the right way anymore, so I had to go back to my old stomping grounds and a couple other stores. So it was American Eagle and a few other stores, but the big store that I always frequent on Black Friday is Best Buy.
Sweet.
So I did pick up a game, Days Gone.
Oh, really?
That's the zombie open world game on the PS4. So I did pick it up, so that probably will be in my rotation at some point in the near future. I did pick up myself a new mouse. Because my other one decided to, crap out, ironically, around Black Friday, so whatever. But the big purchase was a new TV.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about that big 65-inch joint.
Oh, yeah, and I kind of just play the waiting game when it comes to TVs, because anybody that knows technologies, they like to rotate things out quickly.
Yeah.
So when they want to rotate things out quickly, they want to get the old stock out. But even if it's the old stock, it's still pretty nice old stock. So it's a 65-inch smart 4K TV.
Nice.
Samsung. Stick with the true brand.
Oh, well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, but other than that, just kind of just relaxing and chilling, playing games, writing. Did get back into doing some photography again.
Yes, I saw that. You had somebody was nice enough to you were nice enough to do another photo shoot with Ghost's sister.
Yes, it was for her 18th birthday, so we went and did a photo shoot. We did it at a couple local places in Virginia Beach, and I haven't done photography in a long time, so I felt like I wasn't sure if my talents were left to the side, but once I started shooting, it just all came back, because what it is with photography is more than just point and shoot with the camera. You have to know how to use your scenes, your not your scenes, but your scenery, the lighting, and angling. So,
okay.
And on top of that, the post-editing. Because a lot of editing goes into photography. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've got video footage I've got to start editing here soon. So I understand.
And I submitted my final assignments.
Sweet.
As in final assignment. So that means now it's just counting down the days to graduation.
And we already know the grade's going to come back like an A or something, right?
I can hope so. I mean, you saw the ePortfolio website. So
yes, it would look pretty good.
Yeah. So I just sent it. I was like, why am I going to wait till the last minute to send it? It's done. I've already reviewed it.
You never wait till the last minute. If you got it done, get it done and knock it out.
So now I am literally just counting down the days.
Sweet. Yes. So post Thanksgiving for me, actually even pre and post Thanksgiving, it was working on this studio setup we've got right here. Yeah. As you can see, it's like redid this whole area where we're sitting and doing our filming, as well as try to work on our background here. So some nice change of things up. Hopefully there's some little things little tidbits people will see. Other than that, and then it was out on the airsoft field for the weekend. So that was fun, even though Sunday was rainy and wet.
Yeah, it was pretty. When I wanted to rake leaves, the weather decided, nah, let's go ahead and just end that with a bunch of rain.
No, you got a new TV. You should be watching that. You shouldn't be outside doing work. Whoa!
That is true. Well, I did.
Craziness!
Yes. Well, you got to mix it in.
So it looks like somebody in the chat's asking about D&D dice. No, it's not really your cup of tea right now.
No, not when it comes to shopping.
No. So
I stick with the tech stuff. Well, it used to be a lot tech heavy and whatever else. Now it's kind of like just the one big tech device and then a lot of clothing. Because, it's a good way to replace the closet when it's 70-80% off everywhere.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Clothing's one of those things. So, all right. Well, I guess with that, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot as far as post because it was just doing the airsoft and then all the family thing.
Oh yeah.
So family thing's fun, and this is always a time of year. It's just like okay, do stuff around the house. That's what I did. So, with that, we can kind of roll into our first thing, which is our weekly movie reviews.
Weekly movie reviews with an S because it was.
Oh yeah, we got a few because we did not do a show of like this last week. We did a hangout. We did a Thanksgiving hangout. Check it out on Scuba Studio YouTube channel next starting tomorrow, and so we didn't do that. But yeah, let's go into our movie reviews.
First movie review on deck is...
You gotta go to Ry first.
Oh. Yeah, one of our new things. Got some new tech, and of course, hey.
Me.
So, yeah, first movie on our review list is Frozen 2.
Oh, yeah, a very anticipated sequel. It is one that a lot of people have been looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Since the first one was released back in 2013.
Yeah.
There's been
and broke record after record after record after record.
Yeah. And when that movie came out, it was a pleasant surprise for me because it brought me back to what I enjoy about Disney animation films. It's that true innate like fairy tale kind of escape, but it did it in a way and where it was very familiar but very new.
Did you know it was also one of the oldest Disney properties?
Frozen?
Yep. They got the rights to do that years and years ago, about the time they were still doing... They did Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, but they never got much further with it because the original source story, the Ice Queen, doing the animation of ice back then really didn't come off well, so they couldn't get... It's like you didn't have the right technology to do the story. Almost like kind of like how Lucas couldn't do episodes 1, 2, and 3 in the 70s, where he had to wait till the technology could catch up to really tell that story.
Another example would be Avatar.
Yes.
James Cameron waited till the technology was up to par.
And then making his own tech to work with it because it was shot with those brand new 3D cameras. So that was those were some interesting things. And so... Set this up. I have not gone to see this yet. My Skittles went to go watch it on Sunday with a friend, so I haven't heard how she felt about it.
Yeah. So basically, Frozen 2, it is it's a sequel to the first one, and it takes place a few years after the first.
Oh, okay.
And what you've learned is that Elsa and is starting to hear these voices. So
That poor girl.
yeah, she's starting to. Her powers are starting to kind of like mutants,
Manifest?
mutants in the X-Men series. They're
Oh,
starting to grow,
okay.
and she's starting to get new powers, and she's starting to become aware of a lot of things around her. Also, what the film does is build upon the world building of the world of Frozen. So you start to learn about the back history of Anna and Elsa, and you start to learn about how their parents meet, and you learn about this enchanted forest. So it's told to them as a bedtime story, but what you come to find out in the movie is that it's more than just a bedtime story.
Oh.
It ties into the past of their family heritage, into the town that they are in. So what happens is that they have to leave Arendelle to save them, because what happens is that because Elsa's reacting to this voice, it awakens the spirit elements that threaten to destroy Arendelle. So they have to go on a journey, a quest of some sort, to this enchanted forest to figure out what truth in the past that is tied to their family heritage that can solve this dilemma.
Okay.
So it's a mixture of being a animated sequel, but also kind of like a hero's quest in a way.
Okay.
And the hero, like the other films, are focused on Anna and Elsa, even though you also have the other characters returning, like Kristoff, Olaf, and Sven. So watching this film, what I felt watching this, I felt like I was watching the first film, just with a plug and play. So they just inserted.
It's starting to sound that way.
New music to replace what they were going for in the first one. They kind of just play off a lot of the simplistic tropes of the fairy tale, but just kind of outstretch it beyond what the story is. It's a very simple story, but they tried to do too much with too little.
Okay. So what are we calling it?
What I'm calling it is, even though it's a very simplistic story, and it very feels like the first one, the world building, the animation, and just the overall journey of being with the two, again, Anna and Elsa, because they are able to bring a genuine touch to the film because of their sisterhood. So overall, it's still an enjoyable experience, even if it's a very familiar experience. So I gave it 3.5 out of 5 matinee.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a matinee piece. All right.
Yep.
So, I mean, it seems like it was good, but it looked like the commercials probably showed off some of the best stuff for that.
Well, the commercials were just a tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more stuff in the movie than what the trailers gave away.
Okay. So it kind of... All right. So our second movie that we're going to discuss is A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Yes. The biopic of famed childhood star for many people.
Okay, so this one, Tom Hanks is playing the infamous Mr. Rogers.
Oh, yes.
And it looks like they've recreated the entire Mr. Rogers show from the ground up. And for him to portray this role. But this is not so much about him as in... It's about somebody doing an expose on him.
What the film is, it basically... the trailers don't do it justice. I mean, it does it justice enough where it gives you that it's going to be a feel-good movie, and it's sort of like that, but it's not a biopic. What this film is that it bases itself on the outline of a biopic, but it plays out like you're watching an episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Because what it is, it's more like a voiceover, and it focuses on the character of Lloyd Vogel, played by Matthew Rhines. And Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers, played by Tom Hanks, is more of a side character to him.
Oh, really?
And it's basically a film of watching this guy who's very broken and down on his luck, that begins to slowly change with his interaction with Fred Rogers, because he's tasked to do an interview for Esquire magazine on him, because the whole article is supposed to be about your childhood heroes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's tasked with interviewing him, and through his interactions with Fred Rogers, along with some backstory with him and his father, you come to realize that this is more about watching somebody slowly evolve to become a better person because of interactions with a genuine man.
Okay.
So the shell of the biopic becomes a red herring to being a more character, emotional driven film. It's a more endearing journey about a person's change of heart than it is a traditional biopic. And that is what makes the film so vivid, so realistic, so entertaining, because it isn't what you expect. Because if it went down the road of a typical biopic, it would have just been very generic and very predictable. But you understand the flaws of human nature because of how they focused on this one character, with Fred Rogers kind of like narrating, being the voice of reason around him.
Okay. So it sounds similar, like Bagger Vance or some of these other ones where it's like this character's in there who happens to be just kind of that conscious or Jiminy Cricket type person. Yeah, they do it enough to where they play on that trope, but Fred Rogers has his own little flaws as a human. Okay. So through their interactions and a little bit of exposition, you come to find out the real person that is Fred Rogers, along with this other character, Lloyd Vogel. All right. So what are we calling this one? It's a very strong inspirational tale. It is one that will have you actually, what's the term? Faith in humanity restored again kind of feel. Mm-hmm. And because of that, and because it's not a traditional biopic, I gave it a full price. It is worth the price of admission. You definitely will enjoy it, especially if you've seen the documentary Won't You Be My Neighbor, that focuses on the Fred Rogers story. So it's a good complement to that. So okay, so what's the full price with? That sounds like it's a 4 out of 5, or at least a 3 out of 5. 4 out of 5. Okay, 4 out of 5. Full price. Alrighty. What?
The ghost has appeared.
Oh, the ghost!
Welcome!
Yay, ghost! So, yeah. I kind of just derailed my whole chain of thought. Thanks, ghost. Love it. Alright, third film, which is one that you and I watched. Yeah, another Scuba and The Ry outing at the theater. Knives Out. Knives. Oh Lord, this was fun to watch. This was a very, very fun movie to watch because it is a murder mystery. So there's a lot of when it comes to murder mysteries, there is a very predictable path that you expect to see. Basically, the two things that you have as a foundation for a murder mystery is the ensemble cast and the death plot device. What happens after depends on how great the direction and how great the characters are in the film. Okay. So, as you watch this film, which is directed by Rian Johnson, who's a very inquisitive kind of director, what you find is that he takes the genre that enraptures the murder mystery and flips it on its head. So he plays with the tropes and places them all against each other, to where it focuses on the ensemble cast and the ironic situations that they're involved in. So I wonder if you can expand that. Sorry.
Continue on.
Yep. So the ensemble cast, the plot device of murder, and how everybody... Who done it? Yeah. Who done it? And like I said, like... What Rian Johnson does, he plays fiddle with the tropes. Okay. So it's not very obvious what seems, and things get revealed very early, but it becomes a red herring to the actuality of the story. All right. So what I've seen this. What do you think about it? What I think this is like, first going into it, I'm thinking it's a lot like the classic movie Clue, or it's definitely got some inspirations from that, and then the having it from there, then going into this cast of really weird
Oh
characters.
yeah, they have a lot of big names in this film from
Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Evans.
Christopher Plummer, Daniel Craig, Don Johnson, Tony Collette, just
I
to
mean,
name a
it's
few.
just some great characters, some great interactions,
And that's what makes the film great, is because all these characters are playing aloofness of the tropes, so you see strong individualism when they're separate, but also when they're together.
All right, so for me, I have to say Plummer and Evans were probably two of my favorite characters. Granted, Christopher Plummer, you only see him a little bit,
Oh yeah.
comparatively speaking, but Chris Evans' character is very much because you see
non-Captain America. That's how much I could say.
Oh yeah, because I mean, even his performance in Snowpiercer, and then doing the stuff with the Marvel films, even it feels more like watching a grown-up version of his character from Scott Pilgrim.
It pretty much. Well, now that you mention it, it does seem like it could be that. But what I quite enjoyed about the film is that it pushes the obvious to becoming obscure, because the whole focal point about this film is the family. When you find out, that's why Rian Johnson is so good at directing and writing this, because he's very smart with the dialogue, very witty with the interactions of the characters, and he says, okay, what you think it is, it's probably going to be it, but what happens to these characters as they start to unravel under the mayhem of the investigation? So because of how he focuses on that, and he plays around with the genre, it creates a very fun, enjoyable ride of guessing the truth. So my overall score would be a 4 out of 5 at full price. I think this is one of the most intriguing and original films out there. And it plays to that catch, is that with all these sequels and prequels and adaptations, it's great to see that there is a film out there that takes that originality and pushes it to the forefront. And it actually did do pretty decent in the box office, so it gives another plus down that lane.
Oh yeah, how did it do in the box office? I haven't seen the numbers yet.
How did it do at the box office?
Because we saw this on Friday, which was when it came out, so this is literally...
As we were in the theater, you could tell it was going to make money, because that theater was packed.
Oh, yeah. And it was a really good film. I mean, it wasn't too over the top. It was just kind of, hey, this is a character story, and this is just shenanigans.
Yeah, I think it made... Knives Out made, over the weekend, 26 million.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
so
That's not a bad opening weekend for this year.
So right now it's at 72 worldwide. So good numbers for a small film and ensemble cast of this kind.
Oh yeah. So yeah. So what are we calling this one in the end? What was our rating?
My rating was a 4 out of 5 full price.
So we got 2 4s and a 3.5.
Yeah. What was your score if you were to judge on the Ry scale?
If I was judged on the Ry scale, I was definitely 3.5, 5. I mean, there was some probably 3.5, and definitely a 4.5 in there. There were the only shortcomings I could really find in the film is that some things just felt really gimmicky. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a character's particular quirk that felt kind of gimmicky for the plot.
Yeah, that gimmick. It was very obvious what it was used for, but the only reason it didn't bother me is because they didn't overuse it. It was used at specific moments.
I think the payoff at the end is well worth it.
Yeah.
So that's where it's like I'm like kind of.
That's a perfect example where they don't overuse something. Whereas just to return back to Frozen 2, what people enjoyed about the first film, they just overdo it. So they overdo. Let's
make the characters a little older. Let's change up their costumes, but let's essentially tell the same story again.
You get a lot more of what you don't really want in Frozen 2. So that's why, at least in this one, it was a good change of pace. Where you see the gimmicks, you see the archetypes, you see what's being played on the screen, but it's maneuvered around enough to where it it isn't overused and overabundance.
Okay.
So
Continue. Stop watching me.
Our tech person can't seem to get things straight from one session to the next.
Hey, I can't help it that someone keeps moving the studio around.
Oh, no.
One day he sits on
You
one
had
side.
plenty of time to get the camera straight, so don't be giving me that nonsense. Hey,
anybody sitting there?
hey, let's check out what's going on in the chat. We got a couple minutes before we move into our next stuff.
So start is here.
Alrighty, so Vipers, good to see you again. Ghost, definitely happy to see you. Graza, it's good to see you, man. Welcome to the party.
welcome everybody.
Oh yeah,
Thanks
anyone?
for following.
Oh, I'm not familiar with
Brian?
Kenu Saba.
I know about that anime. It's in my Crunchyroll with the other 100+ animes that I gotta watch at some point.
Ah. And do a shout out to Fun Times 9023
Thanks
for
for the
follow. Love it. Appreciate it. Huh? Oh, via Mixer. Yes, we are on Mixer. We're on Twitch. So thank you very much. Keep checking us out. Oh, you like the thing, Sal? Oh, yes.
Most everybody knew what I got you, but you.
Yeah, and I am not in the best of moods. I'll just tell you right now. I am not a big fan of holidays. The holiday season just does not do well for me normally. So, but
You can always pick on Volg.
moving on. So,
Moving
get that out of the
on,
way. I don't want to be a
on.
downer. There's got to be positive vibes here. Positive vibes. So, you know what? Best way to get positive vibes, we go to a friendly tavern. That is crowded and thrumming with fun times. But next thing is our state of game.
State of game. The games we are playing. Both
Yes.
live and on the controller.
On the controller, live.
All of various ways you play games.
Holidays, the way they've been, I haven't been able to sit back down with Outer Worlds, but I'm thinking of flipping over to PC to continue on with that story.
Okay.
Because I have the Game Pass Unlimited, so I can put it on PC. I wonder how I put a smiley face in there.
Just ignore that.
Anyways, so
You have psychic powers.
apparently,
It's because of playing all that Outer Worlds.
well, I
generational.
did binge Wolverine and the X-Men on Disney Plus.
How do you like that version of the X-Men? Because I've watched it before.
I did not realize how short it was.
Yeah. And the way, okay, I love that interpretation of the X-Men, even though the 90s X-Men series is still my number one. But the way they tell the story and they tell it from Wolverine's perspective is so great. And the way they play around with the characters.
Oh yeah,
Great. But the cliffhanger in that made me so mad.
that they canceled the show.
Yes, because they had so much potential with that storyline.
Oh yeah, so much.
I'm sorry, I just went on a rant, people. But it's just
Well-
that series just made me so mad because there was so much great potential with it.
So yeah, I don't have any real good video game stuff. I do have a couple of video game stories and odds and ends, which we'll get to in a little bit. But my big gaming thing, actually, there was no D&D games, so it's because of the holiday. So
Yeah.
a little light on the gaming thing. The only games I can really talk about is the time on the airsoft field.
Yeah.
So, but before I get into all that fun pew airsofting, running around in the forest kind of fun, what about you? What have you been playing? Have you been? Did you get a lot of video game time in with the holiday?
Yes.
Oh, really?
I got it in a lot of
On that big new 65-inch TV?
Not yay and nay. But
Okay.
it took me a while to set it up. But
Okay.
I did get playing, and I played a lot of Borderlands 3 and a lot of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Are you close to finishing Fallen Order?
I see what you did there. But not quite done yet.
Not quite done yet.
But I can tell you, I'm having a lot of fun playing Jedi Order. Now that I've gotten down the mechanics, even though it still makes you feel less of a human being when certain fights, now that I've unlocked more skills and I'm learning how to use the skills to counter and parry and block, it's really becoming more fast-paced in the action. But one of the boss fights, you fight one of the sisters. it made me get to the point to where I literally wanted to throw the controller against the wall, because fighting that sister was so hard.
What happened after you defeated her?
I went to bed because I was up.
What happened in the story? So I know where it's in my mind.
What happened in the story is because this happened on the Wookiees planet. So you go back to the Wookiees planet, and after that happened, you leave, and now I'm out and I'm on the Dark planet. I can't remember the name right now. I did play a little bit before I came here.
Okay.
So, but yeah, when that after that fight, I was just like, okay, this is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a really good story. I heard there was an interesting element. It's like there's no fast travel.
No, there's no fast travel.
So you literally have to walk from one end to the next.
And every time you save, everything respawns. So you still have to fight through the waves.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, so that fight just it really tested more so not my patience with the game. It tested my patience with parrying and blocking and being very methodical with my attacks.
So all right, so let me ask you so far, because you have your principal cast of characters at this point. What do you think of the cast? What do you think of the character element, character interaction?
The character element is very good, especially because they slowly reveal stuff. So now that I've gotten further, you kind of understand Cal's interaction with the people that he's with.
Mm-hmm.
You find out a little more of the lady's backstory, how she ties to the sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And when that found out, I'm just like,
yeah, that was
what's going to happen down the road? So
Oh, there's a great payoff at the end.
Yeah. So,
but
once I get there, I'll let the shock and the enjoyment get there. But
what do you think about the character of the Jedi whose path you're following to find these artifacts to get this holocron?
He feels like a very aloof character, like a very ha 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 character. But he's like one of those ha 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 characters that knows when to be serious.
But what I got to admit, they picked a really good actor to play him.
I didn't really pick up on who is doing the voice for him. Because I'm so focused on the game mechanics that I'm really not paying too much attention to who's speaking, other than just listening to the dialogue and trying to stick with the story.
I'm gonna have to pull it up because I know stuff he's done.
Yeah.
And it's escaping me right now who he is, but he felt like a perfect fit for that role.
Yeah. But I'm definitely enjoying my experience, and now that I'm unlocking more skills and now I can throw my lightsaber at people, so that's pretty awesome. Now the two things that I enjoyed that I've unlocked is the double jump and throwing my saber, because you'll be running, and then like if somebody's shooting at you, you can just throw your lightsaber at them and done.
Wow.
So,
yes, I would definitely agree with what Graza just mentioned there in there. The Dark Souls element in there?
The Dark Souls element comes in where I need, like when I said testing my patience, I like to go full Rambo in games, and I can't go full Rambo in this game. I have to pull back, reserve, and actually, fight the good fight, and be patient, because when I'm in boss fights, I just want to get it over and go, but I really have to slow down and work my way with these boss fights. Even when I'm just fighting just regular stormtroopers, I gotta be smart.
Yeah.
Because they'll be like 3 or 4 of them coming at you, but they're all different kind of stormtroopers, so they have all different kind of fighting mechanics. So you have one with a big batter ram, I have the one with the guns, and then you'll just have one just going buck wild.
Wow.
So you have to be able to counter that, but be quick about it. And the only good thing is that the camera angles don't mess around, so it knows how to focus when you're doing certain things.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Look forward to see how that goes. Any other games?
Borderlands 3.
All right, where are we at? Where are we at in Borderlands?
My goodness, I have unlocked some guns that just make me want to just go bed with them, because woo!
No, did you see the promo for the DLC?
I saw it. I got excited. but I was like, I need to finish the game first before I can get more excited. But my friends finally decided to pick it up, so I'm going to have a crew running with me soon.
Uh-oh. Watch out.
So, other than that, I did pick up my Switch and played a little bit more of Octopath Traveler.
Okay.
So I got some little downtime with the old school JRPG.
Nice. Camera
Yes, I
yeah,
totally agree.
I agree with that too.
There are some games with bad camera angles that just make you want to quit.
So yeah, camera angles are one thing that irritates me in some games because
So-
they just don't seem to work.
But-
No, they don't. It's
Yeah.
like it's like you're trying to go one way and the camera decides to go an opposite,
Yeah.
and you're just like,
That's the only good thing with Jedi Fallen Order. You can move the camera around quick, or it'll auto adjust quickly to your fight. So
okay. Guess he's well, we're working on our projections, so our stage presence.
I'm trying to be stronger and more vocal, and the mic is really pretty much up to my mouth. So
It's close enough there. It
Yeah.
could probably get a little closer, but we don't want to get it into the camera either. So, yeah. So okay, so we got those. Like I said, I haven't done too much since my last playthrough of Outer Worlds.
So, but yeah, there are a couple more games coming down the pipeline, which I mentioned. Days Gone is one of them. There's another RPG I just purchased on the PS4, but that's going to be a group running game. So, and then eventually I'm going to get over to Outer Worlds like you.
Yeah, So I'm thinking about running that on PC now, or I may just continue on the Xbox and just broadcast through Mixer. Let's see. All right, so I guess we get into the airsoft stuff because that was fun. Let's see. Saturday was cold, a little cold, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was a little damp and rainy in this area.
Yeah, but no, it was as my theater director would say, project.
Project. Yeah.
Project. So yeah,
Project.
Skittles' birthday was Saturday.
Happy birthday.
She's now 11, and buddy of mine and one of my friends at the airsoft field gave me we established a transaction, and I got an MP5
Okay.
that he rebuilt
That's cool.
and worked, so it was nice and small and compact for her. But we rolled out there, and Saladin joined us too. So while I marshaled, Saladin and Skittles were doing their thing, and it was a couple of really. Honestly I can't remember much of the gameplay because it was just kind of so back and forth. But there was a game mode in the afternoon that just had me rolling with laughter. Oh yeah, Halo did drop. I do have it in my queue to start playing on PC. So we get into the afternoon, and we run a scenario game. They call it Down Pilots. We have a group of pilots that were in the north. You had your red team and blue team.
Okay.
They had to go to retrieve the pilots and extract them to the 2-story building in town called the Escher.
Okay.
Well, these two teams, they decided that the team of pilots, and this was, I was dying thinking about this, but the crew they picked for the pilots are a group of people who play out there a lot.
Interesting.
They know how to communicate with each other. I mean, and so we have the two teams and the pilots. Well, one dude brought out his Juggernaut suit. So we incorporated the Juggernaut play into it as well. Now the Juggernaut, he had a metal plate on his chest. If you hit the plate, he'd take a knee, or you go up and tap him. Now he fights for your side. But he starts out initially hostile to everybody. Well, he walked with a machine gun. So he was short controlled bursts, right? So the two teams decide to fight each other in the town and don't even bother going to look for the pilots because they didn't know who the pilots were. And then the pilots got bored and decided to extract themselves to the Escher. But
That's a twist.
it's a twist. And well, here's the thing: the Juggernaut was decimating both teams. So the call came over the radio: have the Juggernaut head north. So I pointed him north, sent him north. He went north. Next thing we know, he's been flipped to fight for the pilots. So now the pilots have 2 machine guns, shot communication, a Juggernaut, and come walking back up from the north, and get most of the way into the Escher to win that. Red and blue just kind of lost. So, but early in the play is like the same crew was running with Skittles. Skittles was running with them, and they realized that Skittles is a great medic.
Yeah.
No. Amazing is their word.
Amazing medic.
So she's got the medic part down pat.
Oh, she was requested to be a medic.
Okay.
Well, I mean, she's yay big, she has the MP5, and she understands the medic rules, which is tap for 60 seconds.
Yeah.
So I will turn this over to Saladin to tell us about this and I will preface it by saying these guys realize that with Skittles on the field, if she's with the right crew, she is a mobile respawn point.
Because of her size, she is able to get in and stay in places that normally, like a full-size person, even you would have a hard time sitting in without getting hit. Well, the thing is, she actually knows the medic rules, and she can get people or boss people around because of who she is.
Yes.
I sat there and was her security. There was another gentleman that was with us, and he was also a medic. But I believe he was the second-class medic, because every chance she got, she'd be like, go get him. And would be telling...
Commander-in-Chief of the Red Cross.
Oh, yeah. And then she goes, I need to move over there. And then, of course, at that moment, guess what? The crew that was the down pilots shows up. I say she wants to move over there. All right. She had a surrounded guard completely around her, protecting her the whole time while she moved. She was hit once, and that was by friendly target, which got pummeled to death.
Pummeled.
Yeah, we won't.
Emphasized.
Yeah, by about, I think, 8 different rifles at the same time. As soon as she said hit, everybody turned and shot. They were decimated, pummeled. But needless to say, by the end of the time, it was a experience she enjoyed immensely and went around and said thank you to everybody.
Yeah, she's very polite, very well-mannered. And seriously,
unless you're on the field.
Yeah, which is why, because I have a picture from that was taken that day. I'm not going to show you here. I'm going to say, go to Ballahack Airsoft's Facebook group, look up the post for this past weekend, and you'll see the pictures. Because she's in pink, but what you can't see is she has this pink sweatshirt underneath her jacket, which is something we picked up when we were in Wisconsin. And that sweatshirt says, pretty in pink, dangerous in camo. And that is her go-to sweatshirt now.
It sounds like you put it on
Big...
and turns into another person.
Yes. And people
No, she puts on that mask. And she's a whole nother person. I need to find a really good artist, have them detail the mask.
Yeah, she was, as soon as she went on the field, everybody was either running away from her or coming towards her. And the best part is she's wearing a bright pink sweater.
Yeah. Pretty obvious out there.
And she was ecstatic. She went through the last game, she went through 2 mags and got 12 people. And the best part was those 12 people came back and said, good shot.
Yeah.
So
she's primed for that field.
I'm actually very concerned what she'll be like. Sounds fierce. Yes, totally.
Skittles is fierce.
She's 11 now.
Yes.
Imagine when she's 14 on the field. running with this crew, learning tactics the way they do tactics.
Yeah.
It's like,
She was
oh,
already learning them because she knew exactly what they were talking about with the pilot crew because they actually were doing tactics on clearing rooms and stuff. Well, she's sitting behind them, and one of them taps her on the shoulder, and she just readies up, ready to go.
so yeah.
And then all she sees is a hand come around the corner, and she's in there, and
But
quicker
yeah,
than anything.
and that's why I say if she's with the right crew that communicates and has her, she's a mobile respawn. So it's great. But that was Saturday. She lasted most of the day, which obviously it's 6-8 hours of continuous running around out in the field. That can get a little tiring for even an adult.
Yes.
But the last one, we were playing Chaos, and she decided to spectate. So the three of, and by this point, Saladin's spectating too. So the three of us are wandering through. I'm marshalling because Chaos, it's an organic game.
Okay.
I just kind of wander and follow the action. And there was these two cats out there. Oh yeah, we're getting there. There was these two guys out there that were dressed in pink bunny onesies.
Okay.
Airsoft.
Yeah. Airsoft, you see a lot of things. At least from what you've told me.
Yeah, so, all right, we got into that. Well, then Sunday. So I got there Sunday, expected to marshal the whole day. Unfortunately, the day is all very rainy and wet.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of people who showed up.
Continue.
Yeah, I'm reading the chat. I'm being nice to those people who are chatting.
I've already let them know that between sessions you will look at the chat.
So, Sunday there wasn't a lot of people. The GA for the day suggested I stay and play because there was hardly anybody there who couldn't justify me marshalling the whole day.
Okay.
So I went inside. I said, "Hey, can I have a shotgun?" So I got a shotgun. I got shells. I have BBs.
You ready?
People can say I don't play a lot, which is true. I do not play a lot. But after this, no one can say I'm a fair weather player because I will get out there regardless of the weather and I will play. I'm sitting there in my coat and everything with the shotgun, and I went the whole day till about 4:30. 4:30 is when I was about done, right? But one of the afternoon games we were playing, or we did this chaos game, and ended up with my crew. It was 12 pairs of 2, all spread out in the field, and we had to kind of grow from there.
Yeah.
One team of 3. And that team of 3 was Cowboy, one of the GA from Saturday, and one of the regulars. So, and it was like we roll up. They decided to hunker down inside the LZ and wait and be defensive, while the rest of us battled it out. And then it was push, and then I was trying to push everybody to the LZ to clear them. So we ended up winning the match because we were able to get those 3. But later we started playing these little role play games, and one of them is this one we call Trouble in Terrorist Town. Basically, everybody circles up. 2 people. Everybody puts their heads down, their hands out, just like One Night Werewolf. For you people in the chat who know what I'm talking about. Chatting about. Anyways, 2 people are picked to be terrorists, or 3 depending on the group.
Yep.
One person, and then everybody picks their heads up, and one person is selected to be the sheriff or the detective. That person's job is to figure out who's the terrorist.
Okay.
Terrorist's job is to kill everybody in the room. Civilians can just run amok and have a good time and whatever.
Yeah.
So second round, I'm picked as a terrorist because I'm the most unlikely person anyone would pick to be a terrorist.
Shocker.
So this is my favorite moment of the day. Is like I'm leaning against the wall with my shotgun, kind of not very non-threatening, while the rest of everybody's starting to spread, and the guy who picked as the sheriff is like sitting there. I don't know, things are kind of sketchy, and then the guy who was running games yesterday is like, yeah, I'm gonna be with you because that's safe. And then there's some action to the right. And these guys are to my left. There's some action to the right. Everybody turns. I lift to go, boom, 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 boom. Take out 4 of them and dart around the corner.
It's like, peace, people. Peace.
Which was funny because the sheriff was saying, I'll probably be one of the first ones to die. I'm like, maybe.
You were, sir.
But
you were.
that was my favorite moment of that. So
that is a memorable moment.
It is. It's a very memorable moment.
It's a Kodak moment. So.
Alrighty. Well, that covers all that stuff.
Chat recap.
Chat recap. Alrighty. If you're not a terrorist, you're right. I'm a tourist.
So, we have Beth birthday wish.
Yep. Thank you.
We have this is what was talking about for her.
Yes.
And sounds like fun time. Fierce. Yes.
Building life skills and confidence. Oh, there's no shortage of that.
And this right here, which was a comment that I did afterwards.
Yeah.
Now we have Love TT, Gary's mod at least. This is a Counter-Strike thing. I'm not sure if you familiarize it.
I'm not. I know the reference, but
yeah,
not
Gary's
all the details.
mod is a free floating mod where you can do pretty much anything in. Well, Gary's mod, they made a Trouble in Terrorist Town.
This is probably where they got the idea for running on the airsoft field, no?
No, Trouble in Terrorist Town was way back.
Oh, okay.
This has been around for a while. So, and of course you have Nerd Kingdom saying, One Night Werewolf. And what a twist from Volg. If you're not a terrorist, spell terrorist backwards. Oh, God. I don't like that one. I don't like that one because I would die immediately.
But yeah, it was a good time. So actually, I will cap that off by the fact that the next major event really looking forward to is going to be Revelations, which is December 14th and 15th. There's over 500 people signed up for both Saturday and Sunday, and Saturday sign-ups are just about 600 peeps. And I was talking to Phoenix a little bit about that going into there, and I'm going to be out there marshalling. But I'm also going to use a head cam to be an observer to see what all happens as an observer. So stay tuned for some of that footage post Rev weekend. But that'll be intense. But if you still want to go to Rev, I want to come all the way out if you're not. You can go to BallahackOutdoor.com, go to the event stuff, and sign up. We'll let you know. Right now, it's about $80 a ticket. Oh, Graza. Resident Sleeper. So, look forward to that. That should be fun. Alrighty. Next thing in there, we had some odds and ends, but we're running a little long tonight, so bear with us. So, ready for some odds and ends?
I am ready whenever you're ready.
Alrighty, odds and ends this week. Yeah, we'll leave it on the do there. Alright. So, first thing is a collection odds and ends for those who haven't or just tuning in for the first time. Odds and ends is a collection of random internet stories that we happen to find and think they're pretty interesting. So, we will go through them, and these are our reactions and opinions to these stories. And they all are kind of related, so kudos if you can figure out the relation. First story in our list is Valve removed 1,000 games from Steam because publishers were abusing Steamworks.
Yeah, but it's an article that was reported on PC Gamer.
Mm-hmm.
So these games that were banned, they seem to have like one central host from a certain place.
No, it was one developer, but it wasn't just one developer. It just happened to be there. But what I found interesting was the fact that, okay, what is Steamworks and how is that? So to understand the context, Steamworks is an API used for developing and publishing games.
Okay.
You use this to basically put your game up on the Steam library.
Okay.
And if you go to this article, go into the article and look at it, it's the fact that all these games have really kind of questionable titles.
Oh yeah.
So it's probably just a lot of junk, just clogging up the related games. Now Valve didn't give any specifics as far as the companies and what their particular transgression was, but they did say they did email all affected partners. So people were put on notice for this. And I mean, Steam's kind of a wild west when it comes to game development because you could just throw a game up there.
There's a lot of just randomness of games on there, but at the same time, the randomness does help, get experience with different indie titles as well. Mm-hmm. So, you might find that obscure title be like, what is this? And it might turn out to be one of your favorite games. So
that's fair, but thankfully none of the games removed were any of the mainstream. These are all really indie.
Oh yes. Very, very small, very light, but usually when they make a big band like that, it's usually it's those smaller titles. It's not going to be like Destiny or Mass Effect. So
No. All right, story number 2. A new Starship Troopers game coming in 2020.
Game. As reported on IGN, they are working on a PC game for Starship Troopers that is supposed to be released in 2020.
And this it's called Starship Troopers Terran Command. It is being made by Wargames Studio, the Aristocrats, and it will be in 2020. And it looks like it's supposedly a blend of like RTS and tower defense, and kind of a tactical deployment. It seems like they're mixing XCOM, tower defense, and RTS.
They're doing an amalgamation of a military shooter, but within the frame of something like StarCraft. So you're definitely.
Yep.
So, but yeah, we'll look forward to it being on Steam in 2020.
Yeah. So, all right, and our third story is kind of a congratulatory. And that is PlayStation's awarded the Guinness World Record for best-selling home console brand.
Oh yes, as reported on IGN UK's side of the pond. Quote, the achievement was awarded in light of combined sales of PlayStation hardware totaling some 450,190,000 units between the original console launch in Japan on December 3rd, 94. And November 7th, 2019. The record includes hardware sales of PlayStation, PS2, 3, and 4. End quote.
That is wow.
And
it coincides with PlayStation's 25th anniversary.
Yep, on this date, back in the 90s, the original PlayStation was released.
And all that because Nintendo was asking Sony to do a game on a disc versus a cartridge, and Sony's like, wait a minute, we can make our own console.
And there you have it. Another generation for another fans of the gaming world.
PlayStation.
So just a quick hit. Any quick hits on memories from the original PS1?
Oh, Legacy of Kain, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy X, Last of Us.
That's PS3.
That's yeah. All the PlayStation.
Oh, you're talking about all the PlayStation. I was just focusing on PlayStation.
The original PlayStation? Yeah. Final Fantasy VII, hands down.
Okay. I'm going to go obscure and say, for me, the Final Fantasy game that I enjoyed was Final Fantasy VIII. But the ones I played a lot on PlayStation was Metal Gear Solid, Siphon Filter, and the game that scared me half to death was
Resident Evil 2.
So, yep. And if you
I never got the chance to play Resident Evil 2, so I can't really comment on that. Of the games I did play that were original PlayStation, Final Fantasy VII is the one I spent the most time playing.
Oh yeah. And if you want to know the story about that, go check out our Halloween podcast.
Yes. Alrighty. Alright, and for our fourth story, and this is just because it's fun and it's winter.
And it is a typical article of the rabbit hole.
It is a rabbit hole. A man built an entire car out of snow. So realistic, the cops gave it a ticket.
Oh, yeah. So some 33-year-old artist and machinist created a full-size car using only snow, lining up his false vehicle with the curb along a roadway.
And now this roadway was sectioned to be cleared from snow by the snow plows, but he figured he'd have a little fun with them. Now, the cool thing is he modeled this particular sculpture after the DeLorean DMC-12. And for anybody who isn't recognizing that, that is the same car that is Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
That is the DeLorean time machine.
And he created this car to play a joke on the snow removals, but it became a target of the cops instead.
Yeah, cop rolled up on that, got right up there, thinking it was a real car, then realizing it was a sculpture, decided to still write the ticket, but he wrote in there, it's like, he said, "LOL, you made our night."
Oh yes.
And put the ticket on the car. So.
And the article is on Tribunus.com.
Yes.
That's just hilarious. That's all you can say. Like when you go to the link and look at the picture, if from a distance you could probably be fooled, but eventually you'd be like, that is too perfect for the snow.
It is. So, alrighty. Well, that covers all of our major things. So I guess that just leaves us rolling over for our Patreon conversation.
Oh yeah.
So, with that, we're going to start working on our wrap up. So if you wanted to find out who we are, where we are, how we are, you can find Ry at
Incubus Trav on Instagram. Message me, like me, become a friend.
All right, you can find me at ScubaCod on virtually all the social medias, Twitter, Twitch, all that fun stuff. And you can follow the studio. You can email us at the studio, scubastudio@gmail.com. Words and things.
Things all right. In the woods.
Check out our Facebook group, at Scuba Studio. We have a sub group that is for Scuba and The Ry podcast, where we talk about various episodes and have discussions there. Smile on the camera, people. Yes. All right. And if you like what we're doing and want to support us to help us further develop our content and whatever, you can go to patreon.com/Scuba Studio and become a patron. The patron gets extra benefits like early access to all our content that's released aside from these live shows. But we'll do a section at the end of the live show with just our Patreon members to interact with us and have that conversation via the our Discord channel. Also want to give a shout out to Syrinscape for all those background sounds from the Friendly Tavern and the Marketplace. So go to Syrinscape.com and check them out. And is there anything I'm missing, gentlemen?
Sounds like everything's out there for us, for you to find us. So follow us, like us. Thank you for the support here now and into the future. All
right. Oh, yes. Do have one final thing. We'll say that the last 2 weeks of December we will not be doing shows because that is the holidays, and for some crazy reason they decided to put Christmas Eve on a Tuesday. So it wouldn't be fair to families to do a live show on Christmas Eve. Sorry. But that still leaves us 2 more shows for the rest of this year, so stay tuned. Check us out next week to see what we do next.
And some interesting things coming.
All right, and if you're in the Patreon chat Patreon chat via Discord, stand by for a couple of minutes, and we'll be right with you.
Peace.
So wait, got to hit our there. And with that, and then we'll go